Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Pratitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniam Bhagavatim Ashtadashaധ്യായിനിം Amba Tvam Anusandhatami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Vasudeva Sutam Devam Amsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. My namaskars to you all who are listening to this talk on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We are towards the end of this 16th chapter, and today we will be taking verses from 21st to the end of this chapter. Until now, we have seen in this chapter the elaborate description of the Asuri Sampat, that is the demoniacal characteristics endowed by which person goes to demoniacal character. And here Bhagavan concludes his elaboration, his deliberation of these ideas. And initially it was declared that Asuri and Daivi and Asuri Sampad. So Daivi Sampad Vimokshaya and Asuri Nibandhaya. So this is what Bhagavan had said. So we are meaning that Daivi Sampad or these divine characteristics, they will lead to the moksha, Daivi Sampad Vimokshaya, Nibandhaya, Surimata. So these divine characteristics that will lead to the moksha of the individual, that is enlightenment, that is liberation of his soul. And Asuri Sampad, as we have seen throughout now, so that will lead to the bondage. Nibandha, bandha, ni उपसर्ग से कि और दृढ़, thus firmer, निक्षेपेन bandha, nibandha. So what does this mean? That when individuals are traveling, when this journey is happening, and through the course of their birth after birth. They are accordingly, they get the birth into the homes of such parents, and they will get such friends, they will get such community, neighborhood, teachers, etc., etc., to whom they will come across. And according to their karma, and karma has twofold effect. The most important effect is his sanskaras. So according to sanskaras, even if suppose by his karma, if there will be some good karma, even by accident, even by association. So if good opportunity in terms of some place or some occasion or some instance or some people presents before such a person, but because of his sanskaras, he will not attend to them. He will not naturally gravitate towards it. This is what it is. So according to his sanskaras, he will move. So sanskaras are the inner fruit of all our karmas. Whereas prarabdha is the external fruit of our karmas. So prarabdha presents itself in various ways. So what happens is, as people grow from birth to birth, life to life, the people who are going to be liberated, they will slowly be endowed with these divine characteristics. Their bhoga or vasana, they will be slowly fulfilled, and they will not be very hungry or thirsty towards fulfillment of their materialistic desires. Their consciousness, their awareness, they will be derived, their joys, their happiness, their pleasures, they would be derived from higher places. They would become less and less like animals. And this is what Daivi Sampad Vimokshaya means. It will lead him to liberation. If not now in this very birth, definitely in subsequent birth, that person will obtain a good birth, a good opportunity, and he will be free. Daivi Sampad Vimokshaya. Whereas in people who has these demoniacal characteristics, so prevalent, so dominant, so controlling, so much like boiling in a hot pan. So these people, it would be again and again, it would be reinforcing their own bonds and this bondage to this samsara and suffering of it. So with this suffering, they have their own joys, definitely. But there is no question of enlightenment. There is no question of liberation. And the nature of this samsara is like this only. There is, I heard, in our world, there are still some countries where whip lashes are still a valid judicial punishment. Alright. Now suppose some people, some person is given the punishment of 1000 lashes, for example. Okay. Now punishment, how it is carried out? Not 1000 lashes are given to him or her in one stroke. Because after some lashes, that number I have forgotten, how many? So they stop. Because what they have studied, that after this many lashes, this person does not feel any more pain. He becomes numb to it. but he must feel the pain. So that's why they stop lashing him. Let the wounds heal, and they again bring him for lashing to get the remaining quota. Why I cited this example? In this life, pain and pleasures are both. But just as we are wired, as we are made up, the moments of pleasure and happiness, they passed away as if very quickly. And pain and sorrow and misery, we feel that it never ends. So we will have a little bit of happiness and joy, but pleasure, this sorrow or pain is unavoidable in this life, in this world. This is the nature of life. It can never reach that state of utopia that there is no pain, even if Bhagavan Ramchandra also rose for it. It is not possible. This is how this Prakriti has created. People will always have pain points, suffering, misery. The only conclusion, therefore, the only inference, therefore, is one must try to get free of it. If you want to be free of this misery, you will have to give up your choice also. Because if you seek one, other comes invariably. It is unavoidable. You cannot escape it. So that's why the concept of Vairagya. That even this happiness, how long you can enjoy it, how this joy is, how can you enjoy it? So everything becomes pale and insipid and tasteless, even if you have it repeatedly. This is the nature of the world. What joys you are going to derive of this body, of these relations, of these material transactions? How long it can be pleasurable to you, there is a limit. After that, you are going to be numb to it. So only question is, if your soul, your self, it definitely longs for that happiness, joy, that bliss. But it simply means that you cannot have that joy and bliss by multiplying the material resources or instruments for that joy. You have to give up. Like as you grow, as when you were children, you used to play with toys and dolls. You grow up, you have different joys now, and those dolls and those toys become irrelevant to you. So also you must grow here in this case also. From this material, you must go to psychological, intellectual, emotional pleasure, and from there on, you must move on to spiritual. And only Spirit, only Chaitanya, only Satchidananda is the purest, non-dependent, simple, that which is not made a product of some other components, therefore simple, and infinite source of purest, non-material, immaterial, ethereal bliss. It alone can, because you are infinite in yourself, and infinite alone can quench the thirst of your soul. That infinite cannot be found in material mind, because material is by its whole nature finite. And therefore that soul must find and quench its thirst into this ocean of Satchidananda. That is the goal, that is the way. So moksha must be sought. So vairagya must be acquired. That must be done on. And doing this, people with these different experiences, they grow. While growing, when they grow, they acquire these divine characteristics and they seek for the moksha. They develop this moksha. Therefore, that is the meaning. Daivi sampad vimokshaya vibandhaya suryavan vibandhaya asrivata. This is my opinion. So, here Bhagavan said, Here in the last 20th verse, Asurim yonim apanna mudha janmani janmani mam aprapya devakanteya tato yanti adhamam gatim. That these people born again and again to Asuri yoni. Asuri yoni is like the condition, the setups, where these people, that kind of characteristics, that kind of parentage, friends, home, families, neighborhood, everything would be again propelling this demoniacal behavior. That patterns will be reinforced again and again. That is yoni, that is the condition. Asurim yonim apanna, these being born, they are Buddha, these people who are mohita, Buddha, that intellect has turned away from them. Janmani, Janmani, birth after birth. Without reaching me, aprapya eva, mam aprapya eva. Without reaching me, they come here, tato therefore they yanti, they goes to adhamam, adhama. Adhama is the still lower and lower kind of existence. They goes to. This is what Bhagavan says. This is happens to these people who are endowed and who pursues, who do not try to turn away from these behavioral patterns. So here Bhagavan now concludes this chapter with these following verses. He says, Trividham narakasya idam dvaram nashanam atmanam kamaha krodha tatha lobha tasmat etat trayam tejed. So this is what is being said. He said particularly three things. That these are threefold. Narakasya idam dwaram. These are door to hell. Narakasya dwaram. They are door to hell. Not like that. If you are succumb to it, you will go to Naraka some other time. There the Naraka, you enter the Naraka, they are gate. You go through it, you are entering the Naraka gate. What is that? And they are, he says, Nashanam Atmanaha. They are self-destructive. You might seek them. You might feel it very logical to be endowed with them. You might think that they are perfectly natural or humanistic, but they are self-destructive. They will destroy you. And these three beings, what are these three gates? Kamaha, Krodha, and Lobha. These are the three. Now, Kama is psychologists define it very nicely. When Sigmund Freud opened this concept of subconscious, etc. So he observed this force, he called it libido. And it was at that time, it was the beginning of the years. He just interpreted it as, or other people failed to understand Sigmund Freud in a limited way. So not just the sexual thirst or drive of the individual. Then later, after that, his chief disciple Adler, he called it is not the sexual force or sexual drive, but rather it is drive for power, will to power participate. Then the next generation, they say, not just sex and not just power, it is rather the life force itself. It is the life force itself. It is the stream which flows from inside you and it needs to be given way to. This is what they call libido. The karma is that life force. It expresses itself in various ways. It is something very blinding. It is expressed as desires, longing, and people become passionate when it surges within you that people stop thinking and getting carried away into streams, into strong currents. They simply want to go alongside of it. They don't have courage. They don't feel they can resist it. And if it is not channelized, if it is not trained, if that person is not well disciplined, is not being taught appropriately how to give shape to it, if he is unfortunately having any trainings, how they could be constructively, positively, they could be engaged with. So it becomes a disaster for that individual and destroys that individual. So this is called karma. A force, life force within you, going for the material. Going for the material. That's why Sri Ramakrishna very wonderfully said, he said, और रूपटा घुरेगा, तार मुख मुड़ेगा. These two things he has. Meaning that change its direction, changing direction, or turn its face. He said that karma, which is that same force, when it is directed towards the material thing, then it is karma. But when it is directed on the self, then it becomes the prema, the divine thing. It is the same. Wonderful that is. So, you do not have to obliterate it, or you are not neither, and not you will not be in a position to vanquish it, to remove it, or you cannot replace it. That is the one you have to ride upon. That is the one you have to exploit. That is the one you have to cash on. It has to be turned inward. That is our spiritual life. So karma, this force, in general, therefore, from within you, it is trying to seek direction in the outside world. In outside world also, when it is expressed in various ways, it fulfills the life of an individual, it contributes to the society, and it achieves great things in life and in world. So this karma, when it is blinded, misdirected, unguided, so if it is like that, then that person, it can become really self-destructive to that person. If it gets carried away in it. If you cannot direct that force. So karma, when it is obstructed, or it finds some way according to its own configuration in whatsoever setup that force is trying to express. Whatever that person has got, he has got thinking, education, learning, training, opportunity or not, and how that opportunity is conditioned, whether it is feasible, it is righteous or not. That force is there. How you are going to give shape to it. Now there are two ways it can go. It can be obstructed. If it is obstructed, it will manifest as krodha. The person will not be able to handle himself, and he will burst. He will not be able to think what he needs to do. He will lose his wit, his thinking. Krodha will come. And otherwise, if he finds, even if it is illicit or illegitimate opportunity, that person will still try to go with force through it, and it will manifest as greed. Lobha. Lobha and krodha are again therefore the manifestation of the same karma. If obstructed, it will become krodha. And if the opportunity is not right, not righteous, then it will manifest as lobha. He sees money, he should not take, but he is not able to control himself, he is taking. People have literally said me this thing, who are in such position and supposedly they are doing this thing. कि स्वामी जी क्या करूं, कंट्रोल नहीं होता. He's taking bribes. People, they have expressed in these words, स्वामी जी क्या करूं, कंट्रोल नहीं होता. He doesn't need that money. Can you imagine? But when he sees the opportunity that I can take some few thousand, so like children do. You see, when there is a sweet, it doesn't matter. Simply it is there, you simply grab it. So, kama, krodha, tatha lobha, tasmat etat prayam etat. Prayam is three. Etat means this. Therefore, they must be given. They must be given that we will have to give up our ways going into it blindly. That is the point. You do not earn money, or you do not have to get angry or defend yourself, or yes, you do everything. Or you do not desire anything, you do not have any kind of desire. No. Definitely you will, all these forces has to be channelized. You cannot go and lose yourself into it. Then you are doomed for. And the result, the implications of it would be forever. In the form of scars upon your soul. They are very dangerous. Never give you yourself away to this force. So they are called as gates to the hell. Trividham Narakasya idam dwaram nashanam atma kama krodha tatha lobha tasmadeta prayam etat. So this is the 21st verse. The 22nd verse, Bhagavan says, Etair vimukta kaunteya tamodvare srivirnara Ajarati atmana shreya tato yati param gati. So now the people of the divine characteristics, so people, they becoming free of this. How can you become free of this? When your perspective towards life that has changed fundamentally, then only when you have more use of this life force, karma, in a higher goal and purpose where you are spending and you are finding it inadequate, you cannot have karma, or therefore krodha or lobha. These things. So spirituality, the path of moksha, is such that it will happen automatically. You do not have to try for it. If you are striving sufficiently for the spiritual emancipation, spiritual enlightenment, spiritual practices, spiritual goals, they require purest form of energy. So you have to cultivate, and it is like you are trying to seek the infinite, and our energy, how much ever we can direct towards it, it is going to be only very little. If you are spent on that, and whatever with remains, and you can engage in the world, and there will not be burden. That your perspective towards life, it is changed. Then the world itself becomes means. It does not remain the goal in itself, the end in itself. And therefore your tolerance and your flexibility towards the up and downs in the world, that will increase, that you will be able to absorb. You will be able to see this world and the happenings of this world from a distant position with a sense of detachment and dissociation, where you might be engaged in it, but it will not touch your soul. Then only this is possible. Then only this is possible, that you would not be too much carried away in it. You know, this is life, this is how it goes. You do not take it for granted, and you do not have so many wishes and expectations that this should happen like this. Then only there is no this flood of karma, and the obstruction resulting into krodha or improper, inappropriate opportunity resulting into greed. It will not be. So, person who is thus vimukta of all these three, or rather representing all sets of vices. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Matsar. All six are there, shared ripples. This is called Tamo Dwarai. Three Tamo Dwarai. Three Tamo Dwarai, Tribhir Naraha. This three Tribhi is three gods. They are Tamo Dwara. Tamo is darkness. These are the Dwaras to Tamas, or in Tamas you go to this Dwara, to these gates. These people freed from this Tamas. These people, what do they do? Acharati Atmanaha Shreya. So they follow the path of the Shreya, the path of the greatness, of the emancipation and liberation and enlightenment. Tato Yati Paramati. They reach the higher levels. Yeah, that's how their progress and of this evolution towards this liberation starts, and they go in that direction. They reach to the highest place ultimately. Acharati Atmanaha Shreya. Tato Yati. Therefore, they goes to Paramati. So this is when spirituality has come to the action, come to the living of that individual. This is not possible if world is equally true for me, I am equally passionate for it, and I want to equally live it to the full content of my heart, then this is not possible. Unless that person has withdrew himself, and he is seeking something non-material, he is seeking something spiritual, and he has turned his most of the energy towards it, towards within, the pursuit of the spirituality. Then these things he would be very naturally, he would be freed from these elements. He would not go. That's why that is the language of that verse is also very nice. Etayar vimuktaha kaunteya, getting freed of this. Bhagavan has already said that they would get freed of it. Being freed of it, this Tribhi Tamo Dwarai, this Naraha, this individual, human being, Acharati Atmanashri. They do this. But they do Acharati. They practice this Shreyas, the path of the Shreyas, of the Atma, of the soul, of the self. Therefore, he says, in general, for common person, Yash Shastra Vidhi Utsrujya Vartate Kamakarata. People who does not follow any discipline or Shastra. So there is, because you might be born today and everybody thinks he is very unique and very special, and I will not follow the norms or rules because I am something very. You have taken your fantasies to be ultimate truth. That millions are born and millions will born after you are born. You are one of the stereotypes of many. You are nothing unique. So the rules which has been governing for various people in various circumstances, in a various set of situations of time, place and cause, there would be a guide, there would be a procedure, there would be a method, there would be a system. Definitely follow according to it, which humanity has established. So Shastra, your Shastra Vidhim. So how a person should behave in a particular situation. So that is Vidhi, your Shastra Vidhim, Utsrujya, giving that up, ignoring. Utsrujya, Vartate Kama Karata, they only act driven by their Kama, just by their passion. Without thinking, without rationalizing. without taking guidance of your elders or who are versed in that field, your seniors might be. You ask a word, you think, you find out your way. Take a guidance. But this is about the normal things of the behavior, general behavior of the individuals. So the person who behaves like that, simply driven by this passion, not disregarding all Shastra Vidhim, all guidance of all existing systems, rules, norms. So what happens? Na sa siddhim avapnoti. This person neither reaches any perfection, na sukham, na param gati. Neither he attains happiness, or neither he attains the higher stages of life, param gati. This is what the condition is. So therefore, in the matters of the behavior, not the what action, there would be changing scenarios in the world every time. So they would be dealt with, they would be responded to accordingly, that is true. But typically, if we remove the particulars of those contexts, of those situations, then still human behavior is basically same as it was 50,000 years ago. And in this context, how one should think and how one should behave, the discipline and training, we should not go to waywardness. That is the point. If you go that way, if you do that way, what will happen? No success, no siddhim avapnoti, no sukham, no happiness, and no evolution of your soul. Everything will be lost. Therefore, tasmat shastram pramanam te karya vyavasthitam Natva Shastra Vidhanakam Karma Kartum Vihaya Arasti. So, therefore, Shastra is Pramanam. That is the valid criteria how to decide how to act. So always depend upon that and do not give away yourself into your own personal aims and wishes. Do not act like that. Tasmat shastram pramanam te karya akarya vyavasthito. When you have to decide what is the duty, what is not your duty, what you should do, what you should not do, you always take the helps of this guidance. Tasmat shastra pramanam te karya akarya vyavasthito Natva shastra vidhanakam. What is being said in this context? What is being said? What is the general principle of guidance of how to work in this scenario? If there is one, you definitely go abide by yourself, and that's how you decide based upon that how you have to act. This person to what is Shastra? Shastra means Shasana Trayate. That it will save you by this governing or by the discipline. If you abide by the discipline, you will be saved, you will not be doomed. Therefore, they are called as Shastra. So, in this scenario, how a person should act, how a person should lead himself. In these cases, person as much as he rather, if he goes by the word of the wise, of his elder, maybe parents, etc., your teachers, or good advisors, or wheresoever you find these procedures, how you should conduct yourself, how you should react, how you should respond. Rather, what would be happening? You would be giving some shape, some rigor, some channel to your own behavioral force, your own mind. You would be adopting some own self-discipline. What will happen? It will curb this attitude of your mind to simply dance to their own songs. This attitude will be curbed. So that is the way to live. Not do that my life, my rules. That is a dangerous philosophy. Giving to your own personal whims and passions, that is self-destruction. You will lose eventually your control over yourself. And it is the road to madness. It is the road to madness. न स सिद्धिम अवाप्नोति न सुखम न पराप्नोति. That you will find yourself totally exhausted, totally spent out, and at the end, unhappy, sorrow, miserable, and done for nothing. So work in a proper way so as that you constructively, you build yourself, you invest yourself, and you become a useful instrument to yourself. You become an asset to yourself. You do not become liability. Therefore, discipline is something which every person in any part, any aspect of life, whatever walk of his life, they always must choose to bring in. What does discipline do? Discipline is ultimately, it is not the outside behavior. By the discipline, we are trying to control our own mind. We are trying to give a message to our own mind. Trying to teach our own mind to refrain, to not to behave in ordinary way. That is the meaning of discipline. That's why in our Hindu society, we see many times many kinds of discipline, especially household women. They follow many kinds of upavasa, vrata, etc., etc. So this should be done this way. This should not be done like that. One should behave in this way. These are manners. These are etiquettes. These are the methods, the ways how we conduct ourselves. So for any long-term sustainable success, adopting discipline, ability to adopt discipline, cast ourselves into discipline and making those efforts, discipline, that alone can ensure a sustainable and long-term success, happiness. And the success or this happiness which is earned in this way, you will find them, they are not just excitement, they linger long. They pervade for a long time and deeper. It becomes the culture, it becomes the person, that it becomes self-transformative. So they are not like as easily they come and as easily they go. It will not, that philosophy is not right. And when any person develops and molds his character accordingly, it not only benefits that individual, it also benefits to the society. And because we have been indebted to the society of our forefathers, teachers, gurus, etc., so also we must act in such a way that it will enrich and help our future generations. So one must therefore does not think only for himself. That cannot be the philosophy of life. By you not only harm yourself, eventually you also harm all others. That cannot be the way of life. And therefore discipline comes in. When I have to act in such a way that not only it becomes beneficial for me, it becomes beneficial to all other individual beings. In the long run, in a sustainable way. So therefore, the discipline is the way of life. This life is not meant for us to enjoy and spend. It is not only to yours. It is a role you have given to, you have to discharge your responsibility in that role appropriately. to the best of your ability. So ideal condition should be you are not alone. All other people are also your resources and also your help. They will also fortify your strengths and help you guard yourself and ward away any untoward happenings. So that would be like a whole society is behaved in a very syncretic way, in a very synchronized way, like an one organism. That is the idea. And here, whole of the society may not be, that ideal may not be possible to achieve. We can try that in a small group, in our own family, in our own small office, in our small department. This is the philosophy of life, that 4 people, 5 people, one group, one race, one community, one village or one district, they are behaving like an one organism. They have developed, they have attained this kind of maturity and perfection that all are thinking alike. That would be the state of perfection. So, here this chapter ends. And after that, here the last 2 chapters are there. This next chapter is dedicated to the concept of Shraddha. So this next chapter is called as Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. The 3 kinds of faith based on the 3 gunas. This chapter is named like this because this connection where Bhagavan had said here, Ya Shastra Vidhim Utsrujya Vartate Kamakaraka. Here Bhagavan had said that person who disregarding Utsrujya. Utsrujya means literally means uprooting and throwing it away. It means that. Utsrujya, throwing it away. So people who are simply driven by their passions, kama karaka, driven by their passions. Ya shastra vidhim utsrujya vartate kama karaka. Now referring to this phrase, Arjuna asked this question in the first verse. Ye shastra vidhim utsrujya yajante shraddhayanitaha tesham nishtha tuka krishna sattva maho rajasa. So he asked, because he had asked, here Bhagavan also referred to, Etai vimukta kaunteya tamo dvaraihi tribhir nara. He had referred to this kama krodha tatha lobha as the tamo dvara. Tamo dvara, the tamas. Now, this is Arjuna's question. That the people, by disregarding all what is the vidhis, what is the injunctions of the shastras are, canons are, and who are worshipping you, worshipping God with Shraddha. Shraddha is there, but they do not know what is the vidhi, what does the vidhi says, what does the shastra says. So, Bhagavan Krishna is talking altogether different thing, but Arjuna is again, he takes it to the other side. Okay, so Bhagavan was not talking about anything ritualistic worship. When he talked about Shastra, he is talking about the self-discipline. Disciplining your passion. Disciplining the approach to your general life. Anyhow. So that is now, because at that time, this puja, yajna, yagadi, they were the part of the people's lives. Definitely. And Bhagavan is also saying that people will also follow the path of the Shreyas, of the spiritual life. So definitely this thing also comes. But not all people knows what the canon says, all the Shastra says. Not all the time, all the time there is guidance available, people available to tell them. Not many times authoritative or authentic people are there. So his question is whether now their nishtha or their faith, how it would be called, that's the whether it would be called as sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. Because he has referred to these three gates of kama, krodha, lobha as the tamodvara, and gates of tamas. That in tamas you pass through that gate. In the darkness you pass through that gate. Why darkness? Because light of knowledge is not there. When you are blinded by this tamas, by this ignorance, then only you enter those gates. So this is Arjuna's first question. So there is a discussion over here. We will refer to it a little bit in the next class. And here we will take the break. And the 16th chapter ends here, 17th chapter begins. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.